Setting up for custom live stream. Maybe it will. Okay. I think we are a go on the live stream. So again, just to make sure that you are here, make sure that if you are wanting to get the live masterclass upgrade, get it at plrshow.com/new or at plrshow.com/gtools v2, and we will go ahead and get started. Also, remember that the entire funnel is 50% off when you are an Ultimate Insider. You can get that or sign up at the plrshow.com/insiders or the plrshow.com/ultimate insiders. So with that, let's go ahead and dive in. Now, in this session, we're going to be talking about some of the most recent updates with Google Gemini. And there has been a bit of a race between Google Gemini and ChatGPT. I think that the users are the winner. Google clearly fell behind at the beginning of the AI race, and ChatGPT ran out and got, excuse me, quite a bit of name recognition. And quite honestly, if you were to think of AI, people probably equate ChatGPT with synonymous with AI. So people use those terms interchangeably. And so this was something that I think Google got caught flat-footed, and they didn't really have their development ready. And for a long time, they really kind of bobbled it. But it really seems like now they are starting to find their voice, and they are really doing quite a bit with Google Gemini. This is going to be one of many updates, and it's just a small update, actually, that they did, but it's pretty powerful, as you will see in this session. So if you are a user of Google Gemini, you can go to gemini.google.com, and it's a free chat bot, and you can get it there pretty much whenever you like. Okay, let's see, make sure my chat. Okay, no sound. So you don't have sound. Okay, so let me see. Hmm. Uh, I thought I was speaking. Let's see. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, please put the letter Y in the question box, or if you cannot hear me, please put the letter, let's see. Hmm. Okay. Okay. So Mary, someone else is getting sound. Sounds like so it may be Zoom there for you. So if you're not getting sound, maybe log out and log back in. One person is getting. Okay, you got it now. Great. Okay. All right. So okay, good. So let's go ahead and dive in. Thanks for letting me know, Dana. Now, when it comes to the updates from Google Gemini, it's like everything else. These things move fast. Some are going to be helpful. Some are not going to be helpful. Some will actually help you in your business. Some will not. And quite a few of the things that you're going to see are going to be relevant to coders and people who use the API. So if you're not necessarily using the API on a daily basis, some of the things that you might see, they're going to be a little technical and a little over your head, and probably even not necessarily even all that relevant if you're not developing software or an application. However, there will be those things that will come out of what they're doing that will fall to what, the regular chatbot, that are going to be extremely relevant and we're going to be talking about some of those things here tonight. Let's talk first about gems. And gems is a very interesting element of Google Gemini because Google Gemini is probably very similar in some ways to ChatGPT. In other ways, it is far superior. In other ways, it is inferior. And one of the things that ChatGPT jumped out and did was called GPTs. And basically, they allow people to create pieces of code associated with ChatGPT that use the ChatGPT engine, but then they're customized, and people are actually going out and creating marketplaces and selling those GPTs in the marketplace. Now, I don't know how long that's going to last and the way in which it is. However, people are doing it, and it is a culture of ChatGPT. Now, however, Google also has the same functionality. So you can go into Google and you can customize your own code for your own use. And it allows you to create different elements of the chatbot with your own files, with your own spin, with your own, I'd say, goals, right? So if you have specific purposes for which that you want to use a chatbot for, you can go into Google Gemini and create them. Now, right now, you cannot sell or share your gems with others, and there are no plans to do that. So it's not as if they're looking to copy ChatGPT in that way. They're really looking for this to be a way for you to customize Gemini for your own use. So if you're not necessarily, into customization and you just want to pretty much go out and sell, probably ChatGPT is going to be your place, right, to create to create customized software and sell it. However, if you're looking for a more, I'd say, a more robust experience with a chatbot, and you just wanted to kind of bend to your will, then gems may be what you need to test out in your use. So there is no marketplace right now for gems, right? So you can't go out and see other people's gems unless they choose to show them to you, or unless they invite you to be part of their Google workspace. And they are specialized version of Gemini that you control. And so you can go in there and you can create just about anything that you want as long as you have some files that you want to upload, or you don't really even have to upload files. What you're basically doing is you're basically giving the chatbot some directions on how it is you want it to act in a specific situation. So if you don't want to use files, you don't want to customize with files, that's not something that you have to do. And you just really want to make sure that, if you're doing something over and over again, you're going to a chatbot, you're getting some kind of information repeatedly, or you're doing some kind of action repeatedly, then this is something that you want to go in and customize a gem to do. A gem is really designed for you to go in and take any part of your process, right, where you're getting information from a chatbot, and you're going to program it basically to do that without having to ask it. So instead of going in to write prompts to coax the AI to give you some kind of information, if you're doing that every day, if you're doing some category of information every day, and again, of course, it is the same thing that you would do with a GPT. You are going in to make sure that the chatbot basically can do exactly what it is that you want, and you program it yourself. Now, again, the when I say program, I don't want it to make it sound like it's a coding issue. So that's the idea behind it, Jim. You don't have to be a coder. You don't have to be and understand a lot about IT in order to do this. Now, if you do understand those things, you're going to be able to do some things that, let's say, the normal person would not do, but it really is designed inside of the chatbot inside of Gemini so that you should not have to be a coder. Anyone that has a process that they want to refine and make sure that the chatbot understands over and over again, this is what you program a gem to do. Now you can upload documents and information to gems for Gemini to access, and we'll talk about what the limits to that is, what those limits are here in a minute. Um, it basically has what's called a 1 million token window, right? This is quite a bit, right? So what it means is that in a conversation, we can upload up to 1,500 pages of text documents. Now, that's a hefty amount of text documents. So if you're looking to analyze within a chat and you're looking to get the chatbot to analyze something, we're talking about 1,500 pages. Now, again, if you're a coder, maybe 30,000 lines of code means something to you. Those people are not going to, that's not going to mean something to people who are not coders. But 1,500 pages in one conversation is quite a bit. And so basically, you are going to be able to manipulate this content inside of Gemini. And you're going to be able to interact with the chatbot based on that. Now, some of this information I'm about to share with you came directly from Google. So I didn't want to massage it. There's no reason for me to massage it. We're gonna talk about it, obviously, but this is information that came directly from Google, so that I didn't change anything that I was given from Google. But we do want to talk about some of these things here in this session. there are a maximum number of files, right? We can upload up to 3,000 files in a single prompt when interacting with a gym. Now, I'm not sure whether or not you'd want to do that, but there probably are some scenarios where you can think of where you can upload 3,000 files. And so I guess the point in doing this is, let's say that you're doing some kind of analysis and you need to be able to get Gemini to give you a synopsis of those 3,000 files, or it takes you these 3,000 files to create something. So if you can think about all of the documents that you might upload into a gem in one conversation, there's quite a bit, right? So you've got a big window of documents that you can use when you upload and have a conversation with a gem. So I think it's basically a way of saying there really are no limits, right? I can't imagine a scenario where you're going to have more than 3,000 files, but someone will probably have one. But in most cases, most people who are going to create the content, they're not going to have more than 3,000 files in one single prompt conversation. Each individual file can have up to 1,000 pages. So I want you to think about that, right? That's a lot of text. That's a lot of content into one conversation. And so if you are looking at the difference between, let's say, ChatGPT at this point and Google, there's no comparison. So just so that you'll know, in terms of processing amounts of information, there is no comparison between the two at this point. And that's not to be a Google fanboy or to say, or they're not paying me to say this or anything like that. There just is no, there just is no, there's just not even a comparison between the two in terms of the amount of data that you can get into a conversation, and specifically with a gem when you're working with Google Gemini. And so each file can be up to 50 megabytes. So you've got everything you need to handle, in one conversation, all the analysis that you ever want to do. And I think that was really the idea behind these gems and behind Google Gemini, is so that you can come to Gemini and you can take all of your content, you can upload it, and you can get the answer that you want. And so, really, for people who have a lot of content and people who have a lot of information that they have to process all at once, sometimes highly technical information, because I want you to understand this. This is not talking about um, the level of information, right? The complexity. It's talking about data or amount. So it's saying to you that it can be highly complex. Now, you do obviously want to test the information you're going to get out of this, but it can be highly complex. So if you can come up with 1,000 pages of highly complex information that would be impossible for you to process, what Google is saying to you is that bring this to Gemini, bring this into a gem, and see what you can do. And so it again, if you're trying to compare this with other chatbots, there is no comparison at this point. You can upload a PDF and a plain text file. Most of the time, you're going to be uploading a PDF. And these days, you can pretty much take anything, you can right click it, and you can just turn it into a PDF. I know that you can download any doc file that you have on Google Docs. You can take any Word document and you can print it as a PDF. So creating a PDF is no longer a process. You don't have to have Adobe Acrobat or anything like that. Just about anybody can take anything and turn it into a PDF. You can take some images in um, in Microsoft, and you can print those images as a PDF. If you are a worker of, or if you use something like, let's say, Snagit by TechSmith, you can take any document, any image, anything that you can pull into Snagit, you can then print it as a PDF. So getting into PDF form is no longer the chore it used to be. You can get anything into a PDF and you don't have to have specialized software to do it, right? So you don't have to worry about that. Uh, Um, so here's where the limits start to sound a little normal, right? Because this is the same as ChatGPT. And it may even be less. Like you can upload 10 files when you're initially creating a custom gem. So in other words, to create the gem, you can use 10 files, right? 10 files to create the gem. Now, obviously, you want them to be as, um, I'd say as direct as you can. Now, what you don't want to do if you're going to create a gem, the idea behind creating a gem is not to shove as much information in there when you're creating the interaction, because the gym is going to use this information to interact with all that other information you're going to be uploading, those 3,000 files. So this has got to be refined. You want to make sure that it has nothing more and nothing less than what it needs in order to process. And you only need 10 documents. And this is a way of saying to you, communicating with you, is that you need to be judicious about the files that you upload. So just as you're creating a GPT, you're going to create a gem. Be judicious about what it is that you put into the creation of the gem. Because again, this is what the gem is going to use in order to interact with all of your other content and your documents. Now, if you are going to upgrade to Google, Gemini Advanced, you're going to have more tokens. So think about the fact that we talked about the fact that you have a million tokens with the regular version. If you upgrade to the Pro version, you would have 2 million tokens. So just double all the other limits that we talked about. Now you don't double the number of files you can upload with a gem, but you can upload double the upload to the window of things you can put into a single conversation. So if you're thinking about, well, should I pay the additional $20 to upgrade? Does it really matter? It could matter depending on what it is you're trying to do. Just like other chat bots, there are what are called rolling limits. And when you reach a limit, let's say that you hit the wall in terms of your usage, and the chatbot says, okay, you're done for the day, it'll roll over to the next, let's say, period of time, and you just need to try later, right? So it's not as if you can't use it ever again. It just rolls and it rolls based on a specific time, and at some point the next day, or maybe in a few hours, you'll be able to use it again. Right, that's probably typical of any other chatbot. I know Claude works like that. ChatGPT works like that when you're hitting limits in certain aspects. For example, if you're using their deep research, you get 14, and when you're done, you don't get any more until the next month at a specific time, right? So, um, what you can do is, let's say that when you know you've got really, let's say, information intensive plans that you've got to do, you might want to upgrade for a month. And these outfits, and what I will say about this is that they don't necessarily limit, let's say, the access based on scarcity, right? So their vibe is not necessarily a direct marketing pitch. So they're not going to come at you and tell you things for the most part like, well, if you upgrade now, you're going to get it for, you got to do it now, or else, this is gonna, things are gonna go away. They don't necessarily do that. Google and ChatGPT at this point. That's not to say that they won't in the future. So you don't have to feel like, well, if you will upgrade for July and you decide, well, okay, in August I don't need this, I'm just going to downgrade, then you just do it, right? You just plan on doing it for a month, right? When you really have to do something, and then when you don't need it, downgrade, right? Downgrade to free, downgrade to pay, whatever you need to do. I do want to talk about deep research because deep research is uh, maybe not necessarily a new feature, but it is a significant feature inside of Gemini. It's what I call an agentic data return. So it's doing two or three things at the same time. And it's visiting and analyzing multiple websites um, with its programming. And so instead of bringing you back one set of information, it's bringing back multiple sets of information at one time. Now, if you have a free account in Gemini, you can do 5 deep research queries per month. So, again, and that can be all that you might need. All right, so again, you just want to kind of be you don't necessarily have to be careful about it, but you just want to be aware that if you're relying on doing deep research for different things, that you get 5 in a month if you're using a free account. And again, if you have to go over and you have to upgrade for a month because you're going to be using more deep researches, then you just do that just for that month. An advanced account gets 20. So you would have 20 for an advanced account if that's what you needed. So again, it is a way of being able to get more information in one search, and is a way of being able to do deep research on one topic and to get a multiple agent perspective. Once you complete the deep research, it can be exported to Google Docs. And that's what you're going to do. So, in order to keep it, it'll hold it in that, in the history, but you pretty much want to export that to Google Docs. It'll export it to the same Google Docs account where you have your Gemini account. Now, the audio overview that it has there, when you do deep research, it sometimes works. Doesn't always work. It depends on the subject matter. It depends on whether or not when you have a lot of information in that deep research. Now, when you just do a regular chatbot search in Gemini, you can always pretty much do an audio overview and it'll summarize it and it'll give you an audio overview to listen to. Excuse me. When you actually do deep research, in some cases, it will not generate an audio overview. It'll just tell you it can't do it. And I'm not sure why that happens. Um, in looking at it, in actually even asking the chatbot why that happens, it says that in some cases, if the information is too complex, if the information is too varied, then it won't do an audio overview, right? It won't try. It'll just say that I'm an AI language model and I can't do it. Now, if that happens, there is a workaround. So, if you want an audio overview of the information that you're going to do, well, what you would do then is you would move it over to Notebook LM. And so you would move it over to Notebook LM, and you don't have to do a lot of work with it. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in Notebook LM, but you can just move that Google Doc into Notebook LM, same account. You don't have to pay for Notebook LM, and then you just do an audio overview there. And in some cases, the audio overview that you get in Notebook LM is going to be a little more robust than the one that you're going to get in the deep research in Gemini anyway. And so I would encourage you really to take a look at Notebook LM and to just move the doc over there regardless, because you're going to get a higher quality of audio overview, and you can also customize that audio overview to be what you want it to be. So again, so for the sake of speed, right? When you get your deep research back, eh, do an audio overview. If for some reason the chatbot says we can't do it, then move it over to Notebook LM and then do it over there, right? You're pretty much going to get a better audio overview over there anyway, right? And again, yes, you can do that audio overview with a prompt customization. So you can just kind of customize with your prompt and move it right over there. Okay, so for people who are watching the live stream on YouTube, I'm going to be dropping off right now, and I just want to remind you that if you want to get this presentation to give to your own audience, you can get it at theplrshow.com/new. And that's the wrong URL, obviously. Just use the plrshow.com/new. That's an old URL, so don't use that second URL. Um, and you will be able to get this presentation to give to your audience with unrestricted rights. And of course, the best way to get it is to become an Ultimate Insider. It is actually 50% off, and it's not free. It's 50% off as an Ultimate Insider. You can get it at theplrshow.com/insiders or at theplrshow.com/ultimate insiders. And with that, what I'm going to be doing now is I'm actually going to stop the live stream, and so we will no longer be streaming on um, on YouTube. So I'm going to stop the live stream and we're going to stay right here live. And with that, thank you for hanging out with me here. If you're hanging out with me on YouTube, I appreciate you. Have a great night and a pleasant tomorrow to you. And